I've been sailing in Greece more often lately. Especially in autumn, you need to be particularly careful around the Athens area.
Let me guess. Weather.
Weather and the deluxe version, hurricanes, which tend to occur especially in autumn.
I can already see the black wall in front of me.
Well, I was actually out there myself that week, and we already knew on Sunday that things would get uncomfortable toward the end.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of time in port, playing cards and drinking alcohol.
There must have been a reason why Odysseus needed 20 years to finally get back home.
Onward to Ithaca!
It already started at the beginning of the week. One of my guests even got the nickname the Thunderer because he was sitting on the throne in the bathroom when lightning struck. We thought it was him. Anyway, from the beginning of the week, there had been a severe thunderstorm on Aegina. I was a little farther south on Poros, and the next day, the video started coming in. It was devastating. People believed they were protected at the ferry pier. As I said, we were safe the whole week and enjoyed it too, until it became clear that we should return as early as Thursday. And that's what we did.
Alex, the reliable skipper of my choice.
Well done.
Check. Thank you. That Friday, the guests were in town museums and sightseeing, and I stayed in the marina. Outside, there were 2.5 to 3 meter waves and southerly winds with thunderstorms.
Come on, you chicken. Others just start heading out in weather like that.
Are you sure you weren't just on ladies' lookout duty in the harbor?
And then I saw it. A catamaran had been washed sideways against a breakwater. High waves, and the crew was just barely evacuated in time, so nobody got hurt. But there was no way that catamaran was going anywhere anymore, especially because it had sprung a leak.
Scratch, scrape, cheese grater.
At first, I thought he had missed the marina entrance. Then I asked around. I was told that they had had a lightning strike hours earlier and couldn't start the engines anymore because of it. The onboard electronics were fried.
Yes, that's why you always start the engines during a thunderstorm, so exactly that doesn't happen.
Exactly. And then they agreed with the base that they would sail back to the marina, which was already pretty bold in those waves.
Yes. And then?
Apparently, they had arranged for someone to tow them in with a speedboat, which is already quite an interesting maneuver. But in the end, they decided to sail into the marina themselves.
Wow. At that point, the disaster was basically already inevitable.
Yes. The entrance could only be reached by sailing close-hauled with 30 knots of wind and 2 to 3 meter waves.
But by the time a catamaran really picks up speed again after attack, it loses quite a lot of height.
Exactly. Was anyone injured?
Not as far as I know, but just look at what the catamaran looked like after it was recovered by crane.
All I can say is cheese grater.
These images really hurt to look at. Did you actually know that recovery with a floating crane can cost a 5-figure amount per day? There's the journey there, journey back, and the recovery itself. Everyone can do the math and imagine what kind of costs they may be facing. That's when it's good to be insured with the specialists at Pantaenius.